Hey, this is George.
Hey, this is Fraze.
And this is Real Talk with George and Frazier. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, brother. Doing good. What about you today?
Oh, man, still taking it one day at a time. Sometimes we have sunshine, sometimes we have rain. But, like I said, man, look, if it don't rain, the grass don't drink. So, thankful for that. Keep it moving.
That's true. That is so true. We need rain. Just not on certain occasions when you're out of the house.
No doubt about it.
Listen,
so how'd the show go yesterday?
It went pretty good. We had a lot of good topics. We were talking about finances, homes, how you get a home, budgeting before you buy a home. It was pretty interesting. We also want to talk about the employment topic, the big thing going on now, where people don't want to go and work for somebody else. They actually want to do more for themselves versus make money for somebody else, which I saw a movie yesterday. It's Black Wall Street. I want to tell you, remember I told you, George, history repeats itself, right?
Right.
It's time to repeat itself. It did the same thing in Black Wall Street. They thought they want to work for nobody else. They work for their own stuff, get their own things, and that's what's happening now. They want to own.
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing is, we have always been a platform for that and your own. Both of us being business owners, we understand that. And not to cut you off, but we also have a guest here who is also an entrepreneur and a musician and everything else, Mr. Mickauthentic, who understands the grind and the hustle, man. Thanks for being on Real Talk.
What's up, man?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. It's really an honor to be connecting y'all from the motherland to the motherhood. It's still home over there.
No doubt. Yeah. No doubt. Tell the fans a little bit about yourself, Mick, and your background.
Okay, my name is Sipiwe Nelson Kupega by name and credentials. I'm originally from Alexandra Township. I'm sitting within it right now as you speak with my mom and the house and the family.
Nice.
And I was born in 1994 on the 1st of June. My birthday was like 3 days or 2 days ago.
Happy birthday.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. I was born and bred by this mother next to me over here in this township. And one thing she told me is that do not never give up in life.
That's right.
No matter what you do, just try harder to do it. Do not try not to do it. That's the main thing. Right. So within school, I went to Santon View High School. I wouldn't count primary because that's where it all began within arts, musician. I wouldn't want to go that much back. In Santon View, I learned a lot of things. I came there as a rugby player who's adamant, who's angry, who was never raised up by their father or their true parents, But within that school, I found mentors within teachers who actually told me that you're actually smart. You are intelligent. It's just that you are blocked by something you don't want to speak about. I was like, okay, what can I convert it into? I was like, I'm good in arts. I'm good in music. So how about I pursue that at an early age? But I loved computers and digital arts too, including cybersecurity. I learned it at grade 7, but I didn't pursue it that much. So when it came, into high school. That's when I went more into that, more music, more. I was like, okay, now I do music. How about filming? These words that are mentioned and everything, how about I portray and narrate them actually in visuals? How about I do filming after school? Because I did business at school, I did physics, I did a lot of things. I changed within grades from grade 10 to grade 11. I was like, no, accounting is not mine. Let me try. Let me try something. Travel and tourism within arts. I was like, okay, cool, let me do it. And then I did it. So after school, I was like, oh, there's actually what's the Big Fish School of Digital Filmmaking. How about I combat that? But I didn't up until 2017, because within those years, I actually worked jobs from Pick and Pay to those little graphic designing companies to your freelancing at what's this, multi-choice DSTV, through Boss Moves Media, and I was like, let me go to school for these things.
Yep. Nice.
And then when I went to school, I was like, whoa, okay, cool stuff. I'm from Alexandra and I'm in Cape Town in a very remote area that I've never been. How about I tackle this place since it's so remote and I know nobody? And then I did so because, as you all know, Alexandra once shook the world with xenophobia, but I took advantage of that in a positive way.
Right.
Let me go learn filming and journalism and research more on what causes all the social injustices within our country. So within journalism in Cape Town, in Big Fish School of Digital Filmmaking, I was like, how about I take this thing seriously and pause with music?
Right.
And see what can I do, what can I learn. I'm in an area whereby I know nobody, but they can teach me a whole lot.
Absolutely.
Than coming from a place whereby I can be adamant and be like, yo, I come from Alexandra. Yeah, you can't tell me nothing. It's a hood that you know, blah, blah, blah. Nah. Sometimes you just have to keep quiet and be stupid for once. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. That's why there's a quote that says, respect a fool to avoid noise.
That's right.
Exactly. That's
right.
Exactly, homie. So when I got to Cape Town, I also met a lot of mentors like Lauren Groneveld. It's one of the directors for a docu-film. It's like 30 minutes to 35 minutes. It's called The Giant is Falling. The Giant is Falling is based on our well-known party. I think all y'all do know it. It's the ANC.
Yes.
Yeah.
So The Giant is Falling is based on our EFF president called Julius Malema, while it's at ANC. Speaking about Zuma, being there for Zuma. Now he's the one who took Zuma out of the seat in 2018 when they did the inauguration, when they placed in Ramaphosa. So I was like, wow, if a director like this can show me something like this, what can I do with it?
Right.
Now I'm not in a place where I have enough licenses and certificates, but just an education to show that. So within now, I'm still learning. I'm not that perfect. I can work where I work. Right now, I'm at Boss Moves Media. I've been with the company since 2018. Shout out to Nonalo Tose. I love that woman because that woman is the reason why I'm speaking to you creative people right now.
Our girl, absolutely. We love her too and everything that she's done and what she's doing in her space in those areas. But let me ask you a question really quick.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about where you are right now, in this country, we only knew about apartheid through songs. You know, Bruce Springsteen had a song about boycotting Sun City. As it became a national, an international theme, so to speak, the miracle of it was Nelson Mandela, who was in prison, then became the president. And that was a Hollywood, story, so to speak. So much so when I went to Santon, I saw the house where he stayed in Santon. You know, I also had the privilege and honor to do that. How is your culture changing now that Black voices can now go out to the world internationally without censorship?
I got only one word for you. Should I say two? Social media. Social media allows us to speak, whereby we can express our true rights than actually being oppressed physically, or should I say in reality. Because, for example, right now you're attacked by the police and you are actually searched without no search warrant. And then in your Bill of Rights or your Constitution, it says police have to produce a certain warrant for them to search you or do something.
Right.
And that hasn't been done. So this is just an example, not that I'm disclaiming our police. No, they are good people. They're good citizens. They're protecting us. In some places, though, we'll speak about it in some other day. But I'm not discouraging them. So Nelson Mandela, somehow, I wouldn't say he sold us out. He made a sacrifice that he's going to save the country. He's going to bring in from tourism to jobs, to schools, fundings, to Black people getting fundings, to BEEs and all of that. Now, today, our cultures learn through that history. We are enhancing it in philanthropism, in entrepreneurship, allowing the internet to actually open doors for us.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, we feel the same way about Barack Obama to some form or fashion. But what a lot of people don't understand is when you become a leader of a country, you are the leader for that whole country. I understand the wounds that many of South Africans felt because they were like, you know, we had been suppressed and brutally suppressed, and our lands were stolen from. The same lands that these people now are claiming that have been their lands. We are the indigenous people. So if you want to go back 700 years, the land was for us. You know, if it's hard, but back to my point of governing. Sometimes you have to make some deals in the short term for the long-term longevity of the nation. And just like we found out in America, just because we had a Black president didn't mean that racism was dead. You know, it actually became worse with the previous administration that came in because he allowed them. Yeah, he allowed them to show them their face out in public. You know, before they used to whisper in the dark, but now they come to your face and tell you how they feel, you know, which to me is a good thing and a bad thing, because I'd rather see you in my front than feel you in my back, you know, that type of stuff being said. So back to my question, how are you embracing that, you know, through social media, and what's your story that you want to get out to the public, so to speak? Right
now, if you can go to SoundCloud or any music platform. I'm a musical activist, actually. I'm not just a filmmaker or a director, cinematographer, VFX editor, or all sorts of that. I'm also a musical activist. So I speak to the world. But because we all have our ups and downs, due to fundings, I cannot get the right what do you call it, PR or administration, or just funding, because I know PR and musical theory. I know how to put my own music into the stores worldwide, your Apple Music, your Spotify and everything. So I put it out there for people to actually get motivated to do more, to enhance, what do we call this, Black authenticity, Black consciousness, push the Mandela spirit, push the Steve Biko, push everybody besides whatever bad they did. Don't forget their sacrifices, because we are all people. Not everybody can stand for the nation. Let's remember that. You can talk from social media and everywhere else, but nobody can just take that step, because we all know that you're taking the biggest step in your life. You're taking a whole sacrifice. It's more like forgetting your real family, having to go to meetings 24/7, 365. You cannot sleep. Being a president is no child's play. I do not blame them. But all I'm saying is that whoever they are giving the funds to, whenever they do the budget speech and everything, let those people also play their role as leaders and stop fraud. We are sick and tired of fraud, because we need more jobs. We are sick and tired of roads not being fixed. We are sick and tired of streets that don't have stop signs, of roads that have cracks, potholes. Those are realities that I'm facing within the township that I'm within now. I'm in Alexandra. If you can pin my location right now live, whoever that's watching, I'm in Alexandra. Like, if you can come and see the reality here, it's really sad. Because it's not what's out there. Because the people that are representing us, besides the president, I'm not going to name names because they're expensive. I'm just going to name positions like councillors, like your MECs. Like, they're not really there for us. They'll just come for surveys, send people to our houses to ask us how life is going, and then pay them whatsoever. And remember us when it's time to vote. Oh my God, that's so sad. Why do you remember us when you want to drain us, when you're going to supply us with energy? Simple equation.
Exactly.
You know, the funny thing is, you said you didn't want to name names because they're too expensive. Here in the United States, you know, we name names all the time, and we don't got no problem with it. So if you're not gonna name any names,
that's the thing about that's the thing about USA. Let me tell you, that's the thing about abbreviations, USA and RSA. You see, with RSA and USA, with the technology that you have, we can disclaim them. Here, they can find me like a cockroach, like
that. Exactly. That's true.
So that's why I don't want to slay names, but positions, just positions. Whoever takes the leadership, which is the title of the position, what do we call it? Distribute the money well. Do your tenders. Let the people in the streets get jobs. Young Tol, we will vote for you, and we will not want you to move anywhere if you did the same thing Mandela did for our grandmothers and our mothers. Exactly. That's why they don't want Mandela to go anyway.
Right. Exactly. That is true. That is so true. Because if you look back over history, politics has been always played differently. You know, they played a way to get into the office. They played I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. I call it threat promises. They never could be able to actually do. But see, thing about America versus other countries is certain countries only have just one president. So he can actually do what he say he do. Sometimes he chooses not to do. See, America had to go through Congress, the Senate. We had to go through 4 or 5 steps in order to get one bill passed. Don't help anybody. So if anybody says no, it's built, it's done. Or certain percentage are done. See, I know certain countries, like for instance, like it's certain third world countries where the president can change. Now I'm not gonna say a name, but you know, Venezuela. Let's say Venezuela. Before the person got in office, it was way worse than it was then. You see what I'm saying? Now, some of his methods may not have been ideal. You see what I'm saying? But he did put a country above the poverty record where they weren't getting screwed as much by other countries. You know, he may give them somewhat respect. You come to our country, you do this, you do that. And same thing now, certain parts of Africa are starting to do that because they're starting to get a little more leeway. But like you say, some parts are still stuck in that idealism where, look, I'm going to do what I can say I do, but I ain't going to do it. I mean,
well, you know, too, Fresh, to put onto that, you know, what a lot of things people don't understand is when you are in a position of power and you've never had that power before, even in other countries, not just South Africa, the continent in general, you know, put it to you like this. If you are now put in a position of power where you were a government employee, but now you see what's in the national bank, all of a sudden that becomes corruption because you're just like, wait, hold on. I can tell the president of the national bank to do this, and he does that. You see what I mean? Then you also have to deal with outside influences as well, too. We talk about the United States, but the United States carries a very big stick when it comes to what they want and how they want things done. Everything from the sanctions that they impose to the aid that they give countries. That's why I tell a lot of people, okay, be careful about this USAID. That's the crutch and hooks that they use to manipulate a lot of countries and to getting them to push the American agenda. The problem with the American agenda is it changes with the breeze. So whatever administration comes in, that's the new American agenda, and it's attached to that USAID that they put in place.
While on that, can I highlight you on something and add on that? It's a good point what you're actually saying. Back in 1991. Whereby I think after the assassination of Chris Hani, whereby Mandela came out of jail, and then in 1994 they gave them to power. I mean, like as a president, you made a sacrifice for the country, and you were giving money by the states. Why would you want to go out in the next 3 years instead of carrying the long term and the long service of the people? It's the agenda that was given by the states to us, which is the third world. I'm connecting it to what you guys are saying. We are the third world, but we are living a life of the states. That's what I'm saying. Everything we live according to you guys. Check the music culture. Check the type of filmings we want to do now. Only now in South Africa that they want to venture in things like animation, VFX, your music. They want to know mastering. There's a lot of producers. There's a lot of this and that and that. But in South Africa, the problem is that our music industry and our film industry is so stereotyped to a point where they want people with qualifications and not people with skills that they can develop at a low budget. I mean, like somebody can just give them a skill like a learnership, but they can turn it into an actual MBA because they're willing to do that.
Exactly.
Unlike
that's just not in South Africa, brother. That's every place. Okay, the film industry here is atrocious as well too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was handled by. Think about it. Warner Brothers, even though Brothers is in there, it wasn't white. It wasn't black people. Warner Brothers was white
coincidentally,
folk.
we are experiencing the same thing.
Absolutely.
Exactly, you're right. But I want to say, do I deal in film? If you ever look at over history, we always had opportunity to break out. But here's the thing: when we break out, they don't give it the avenue like we have now. See, there are a lot of black actors. There were millions of black actors, but some
billions
could get in. But it was a point where our counterpart painted their faces shoe polish to look like us and act certain roles because they refused to give it to a counterpart of one us. You know, and so
why should that happen actually?
Because by then it was power.
Okay. Look,
I didn't give it to you.
Let me explain it, Fraser, a little bit better for you. If you can project what that person is when it comes to film and media, that person is exactly that. See, the problem that we have is how people see us visually. And in the United States, they've seen us visually as low intelligence, below average, everything. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. We have to be 200% more than our counterpart. Not sometimes, all the time. You know, we have to be that. We have to be 200%. So
Black Panther should have taken an Oscar.
It should have, absolutely.
Yeah, but it got suppressed. It got
because it's a black actor.
Exactly.
Black actor with white money. Okay. Black Panther was the first $1 billion movie that ever came into place for the entire Marvel series when it came to that.
But
okay,
for how many years?
But see what people don't understand about Stan Lee. Stan Lee was revolutionary. He was not a person to think outside the box. And if you ever heard his story, he said he tried to do it years ago, but they would not let him do it. Same with Disney. Most of Disney characters are reflective of black characters. But he could not actually say, oh my God, I'm gonna put a black character. He couldn't do that because the time wouldn't allow him to do it. So when Black Panther came up, guess what? Opportunity arises. So it's a need for it. It was a hunger for it. So guess what? They could not suppress it because it was a need for it. We were begging for it. We so wanted so much. So when Black Panther came out, we made a statement. We said, this is what we want. We're gonna keep it. We made the best.
I love how Stan Lee played it out. Remember back in the days when we used to grow up, even when y'all used to grow up, Black Panther was just a shadow in the comic books. But Stan Lee made that oppression come alive, and he made it the most powerful force. Most powerful force within a world that they don't know about, which is Wakanda land. And Wakanda land is not Africa. Wakanda land is actually the heart of a black man.
Exactly. That what people understand. They understand the true meaning of what it meant. When they went to the ancestral, that was actually telling them how we were suppressed, how we have to learn to understand what are we going through and how to approach it. That's why we say we separate ourselves, because we knew reality is they couldn't accept us. They weren't going to accept us. They weren't trying to. They built our own things. They built our own thing. So in reality, it was a great idea to have our own stuff like Black Wall Street. Wakanda is similar version of Black Wall Street. We had our own. The only difference is when we stood out to express ourselves, Wakanda had more, I say, a way to defend themselves better than Black Wall Street did. And I did.
Oh yeah, man. You know that. But the thing about it is, if we're talking about make believe, life imitates art.
Coming to think of Black Wall Street. I remember the great. Okay, I remember the great.
We're just celebrating the 100 years of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and what happened there. Yeah, and there you saw a sustainable Black society, not because we wanted to, but because we had no choice but to. And see, what happened was when we understood that we could sustain ourselves, our counterparts then couldn't understand that because we were in the middle of a drought and a recession that had happened. And so what happens is the thought and the mentality is, well, if I can't have, he can't have. And you notice every time something happens bad, they don't tell the exact truth. The exact truth comes out 50 or 100 years later, exactly what they did. But while they're in it,
hide it.
Yeah, but while they're in it, they cover it up. you know, and that has been systemic. And, you know, we always have to look at history and ask, if it wasn't so bad, why'd you cover it up then? You see what I mean? Exactly. And why do you cover it up now? So it's, yes, it's just
mindsets.
It's just how the entire place works. I mean, think about it. Even if we're just talking about Germany under Hitler, you know, they actually thought that they were doing specific things. They weren't actually telling the truth, and they were covering it up until after the war, when you found out all the stuff that they were actually saying was a lie. Yeah. So it's systemic when it comes to governments and power. But I want to shift really quick back to your music. You say you're a music activist. Can you explain that a little bit more for us?
There's actually a time whereby I was in Cape Town. The person who owns the building there at 106 Adderley Street in Cape Town, where we had accommodation, had told us that we smoked marijuana in like the area there, and we're not smoking marijuana. It was actually happily. And then he went to things like calling other names I wouldn't say, like you see. So I was like, okay, so this is how it is. No problem. Let me just keep it in me. It's okay. It's cool. It went forward to the principal of the school, Big Fish School of Digital Filmmaking. That name I will say, Melanie Clate. That woman disrespected me. You cannot call me a kafir. You do not do that.
Right.
You do not. You do not do that, because I'll exercise it verbally before it gets physically.
Right.
I threw a laptop on her face. You do not do that, because I would not call them their name.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't say it. So you do not do that. You in the new South Africa, we're still exercising democracy even after 20 years of failure. You are still trying to be there. You do not do that. Oppression is a thing of the past. Don't bring it back into the new books. We are going to the future, into technology and everything. We want to take us back to the ancient history. No, don't do that. Do not disrespect not just me, but any face, regardless of race. All races, even within their race, they must not disrespect each other. No, do not do that.
Exactly.
That's why I did what I did. So within that, I calmed myself down. I was chased away from the school. Okay, no problem. Before I went out of the school, I took out a mixtape called Citizen Journalist. It's on SoundCloud. You can search on Mickauthentic. Listen to it, all of it, verbally. You'll feel everything what I'm saying. The beats were done by Margot from Belgium. Mm-hmm. Though he gave them to me for free, I was like, okay, I can also market you for free. I can do something with the magic that you have done already. It was like, okay, cool, no problem. It's also on SoundCloud, MAGO, simple thing. Also on other platforms, there's also music out. I've spoken about COVID-19 before it even came out. There's a track called Brace for It. Brace for It, something is coming and you don't know. Check the date when it came out. It's not this year, actually last year. And also, what's this? Code Views. It's what this Code Views interlude. Listen to those tracks. You'll actually get a clear vision of what's going on in South Africa. It's just that I'm speaking it in metaphors, but you actually hear it out and share the links and do everything else. I'm all about liberation. Black people come first because it's B before white. That's why even when you change the film color from the past, it's black and white, not the other way round.
Absolutely.
That is true.
Well, listen.
I want to say one thing for you, Jordan. One thing. So you say you're a music activist. Do you apply that also when you're filmmaking? When you're making the video to match the song, how do you relate the words from your song and make it as powerful as it is visual as much you did in your words?
Okay, there is actually a documentary of 3 minutes that I did. It's actually a music video based on my track called Rise. Rise is based on oppression, social injustices, the killing of peoples, police killing us, like what did it do to them? Like for me to get a crossfire. And I've also named the certain people that were killed by the police within that music video. It's on my IG page on Mickauthentic. Everybody can just check it out there. I connect my music to that, to reality. I'm not afraid. I'm a journalist already. I'm not afraid. Don't get it wrong. I'm not afraid.
Nice.
I walk in the streets with no bodyguard or no drones on top of me and everywhere else because I have an ID that I'm a citizen. So I cannot be afraid to actually show people that you can stand up for yourself and exercise your rights. Absolutely. Even through the internet, as I've said when this interview started. It can set you free. It can actually motivate your personality to actually speak, even through gender-based violence, even through everything. Let's not monopolize and be stereotyped and be biased about topics. Gender-based violence is on both sides. Let's express both sides, not just the women or the men. No, because here in Alex, you can see the scar over here.
Yeah.
I was injured with a bottle for nothing that I did. I did nothing. But when I went to the police, I was actually laughed at. I was like, okay, this is how it is. You motivate me to actually go forward in life and not to look for your protection and actually to keep myself safe way more than looking for your protection first, because that's how it's always been from the past. Right. So let's just, even now from history, let's just not forget our history, but modernize it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we have to hold it there. We thank you for being on the show. Can you let everybody know where they can find you? Where they can find you, excuse me, on social media?
My real name is Piwe Nelson Kubega. Go and Mickauthentic. Go and Authentic Pictures on Facebook, on Instagram. On Instagram, I'm also Mickauthentic, MICKAUTHETIC.
Nice.
Nice.
That's just about it. Well, I'm authentic. Right. I'm Black authentic because I'm just the way I am, like right now, from America to South Africa. Shout out to you guys. You motivate us to do more.
Absolutely.
You represent us more with your liberation. That's why we keep on doing more within music, within filming, within everything, within money too.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we definitely appreciate you, man. And we definitely love to have you on the show again.
Definitely.
And tell our girl we said hello.
Most definitely. Hey, and don't forget, we have to tell my anal speech. I always say, people, welcome to the family, brother.
Thank you so much. That's why I followed everything. We're still going to do more lives, and I'll also introduce more artists, more creatives. I've got a woman called Melissa Rowe. I think she can be up here in South Africa for your next live, if you do not mind, guys. I can share her your details.
All right, sure. Just send it to us, okay? We'll definitely take a look at that.
Okay, no problem. I'll connect you to her. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Told you, got a banger.
Okay?
From South Africa all the way to America. You know, the struggle is real. You know, we definitely appreciate Nick for coming on the show, man, and expressing his opinions and letting everybody know the real facts. So it's definitely all love. Hey, this is George.
Hey, this is Frage.
And that was Real Talk with George and Frazier. Peace.
Peace.